FightSaga.com and Halftime Pizza proudly present Real Talk with boxing professional Rick Glaser.
Guys, welcome. Happy Monday to all of you. And, well, if you're starting to celebrate your July 4th festivities this evening, please be safe, guys, because I just saw my Big Reds, well, win again against the Washington Nationals. And, guys, from the southpaw position, after the straight left hand from, well, Coach James Gogie last night, well, we've got the right hook tonight with Big Rick Glaser. Rick, how you doing, brother?
Good. How you doing?
Woo! We're doing great now that you're here. Guys, and as a special treat, my co-host for this evening is the incomparable G Funky Boxing.
Thank you. It looks like the chat is ready to get glazed. We already have a hashtag glazed in the chat, Rick. How about that, man?
I love it. Well, before we get started, brother, we need some ambience music, right? Some ambience music.
Speaking of music, man, that is a great tune at the beginning, man. I love
those
drum fills right after the A section, man. That is great.
Oh, thank you, man. Yeah, it's my son's band, Roshii, Roshii, available on Spotify, Pandora, and YouTube. But I tell you what, we've got the smooth groove tonight because we're being joined by the cool cat, Rick Glaser. That was my best jazz DJ voice. How'd you like that, Big Rick?
Wasn't bad.
Yeah. See, you're mistaking that with college jazz radio, which is always very monotone. And it's next up, we're going to hear from the McCoy Tyner Group.
As the saying goes in Hollywood, you made the callback.
Hey, woo! I'll take it.
Hey,
guys, we have a
McCoy
great...
Tyner. Nice.
Oh, of course, from San Fran, baby, from
Yes,
San
sir.
Fran. I tell you what, guys, we have a packed show for all of you guys, and we're going to try to squeeze it in a tight 60 because Big Rick, his stomach is rumbling, and so is mine, guys. So we are going to start off early with another edition of Twitter Watch. Yes, it's time for the Big Rick Glaser's Twitter Watch. Are you ready, Big Rick?
Yep.
Here is number. Oh, don't sound so enthused, brother. I can't handle that. Can't handle that much enthusiasm, brother. So here is number one, the first tweet of the evening at 3:22 p.m. on July 3rd. And he says, a very good take from Steve Kim. Now, let me read Steve Kim's quote. On Friday, it was revealed that Alvarez would be facing Jermell Charlo, the reigning undisputed champion at 154, on September 30th. And guess what? This is actually an upgrade, end quote. And you further say, I'm thinking the exact same way about it. Jermell Charlo is the one with balls of the Charlo twins. As Jermell's, he's got no heart. Even a cardiologist wouldn't be able to find it. That's right. I said it. Hashtag Canelo Charlo, hashtag Showtime pay-per-view, hashtag boxing. Rick? Are you trying to say that this is going to be a much more competitive fight against Little Charlo than Big Charlo on September 30th?
Yes, absolutely. The other one's been 2 inactive. Well, this one will be inactive 17 months. The other one will be inactive 27 months by the get in the ring. The other guy's had, by his own expression, all kinds of mental issues with his divorce, the kids, and everything else. And the other guy's got better foot movement, the 54-pounder. He's quicker, and he's got way more heart. The other guy's got no heart. So he doesn't even want to be in there. I think he's just there to get paid almost. He's had a horrible reign as a middleweight, all stiffs. He never fought a real guy. And he never fought a real good fighter at middleweight. He's just all garbage. And, I think it's a better fight. It's a guy who's coming to win, not to pick up a paycheck, just to pick up a paycheck like his brother would have. And I think he's better. I think he's better on his feet. And I think he's going to be, he'll put up a better fight. Not saying he's going to win, but he'll sure be better than his brother.
G Funky, would you like to retort or just follow up with Big Rick's, very profound sentiment?
Well, I do agree. I think that Jermell is going to be a good fight for Canelo. Despite the fact that he's moving up 2 weight classes to fight him. Canelo naturally the bigger man, but Charlo does have height and reach. So that's something that's a little bit different than most guys who have made this kind of jump in recent years. And I also agree with you a little bit on Jermell Charlo, that is, because the entire heavyweight division has just been awful, man. Absolutely awful the last couple of years. We could actually do without it because nobody's fighting. None of the champions are trying to unify. So all I got to say to the middleweights is this.
Now go home and get your fucking shine box.
Woo! I'll tell you what, I love me some Goodfellas. Always love that soundbite, brother. But Rick, I'm actually shocked that you're actually blaming his lack of activity on poor Jermell Charlo. Now, as much criticism as you direct towards Al Heyman and Steven Espinoza, you're consistently pinning this on Mell, huh?
No, not necessarily. But the fact is, he's in active period. It doesn't matter how he got there. He's not demanding fights. If he was demanding fights, I know that he pulled out of that last fight with the Polish guy 2 years ago, because he thought he could get like $2.5-3 million. They told him $750,000, and he balked. He said he was injured. He was full of shit. But he doesn't want to take his value. They don't have the money. Showtime and Al Heyman don't have the money to play with that they used to have.
Of course. None of the networks do, though.
Well, ESPN seems to be rolling along, and the Zone seems to keep rolling along. But the truth of the matter is, he's not in reality. And how he ever got there, that's their business. It's within his camp, whether it's him, whether it's Heyman, it's the people he's involved with, whatever. I don't see him calling Top Rank and saying, "Hey, I want to sign with you. Give me 2 fights a year." They never got a call that I know. I'm aware of.
Well, I tell you what. We'll get we'll get Ronnie Shields' side of the story tomorrow night, and I can't wait for that. But yes, guys, on this show, it's called Real Talk with Rick Glaser, so you're gonna get it, whether you want to or not, from the real Rick Glaser. Woo! I love it, Rick. I love your takes on everything. Don't always agree with them, but who cares? This is your show, brother. But regardless, we respect your opinion, my friend. You're always insightful, and you've been in this business way too long not to get that brand of respect from everybody, brother. So my hat's off to you, my friend, and thank you for being our special guest. G Funky, number 2 on the Rick Glaser Twitter watch, sir.
All right. This tweet is from 11 p.m., July 1st, 2023. And I quote, "Yes, hashtag Jared Anderson won, but he needs to greatly improve on the following. Needs to close his mouth. It's always open while in action. Needs to stop pulling straight back. Walk straight in. Needs to use more angles and move laterally. Gets hit with shots a top fighter shouldn't get hit with. Needs to move his head. Overall grade C+." So, Rick, I would like for you to, expound a little more on that, on Big Baby's performance this past Saturday.
Well, listen, if he was 28 years old, I'd be more concerned. But he's 23. He's only had about 15 fights now, but he's not improving. He's got to get a different trainer, at least to go into a camp for 10 weeks and work with a guy who's going to teach him new things. I'm not saying leave your trainer, but he's not learning. Obviously, he stopped learning somewhere along the line here, because he's getting hit with elementary shot. First of all, one of the things I did mention, he was walking straight in and just stopping and posing. Not a good sign. Not a good sign. It means he's thinking too much. It means he's thinking too much. Now, the guy was left-handed. Don't get me wrong. But remember something. The guy he was fighting was left-handed.
That's right, yes.
You know, the guy who was supposed to fight originally was left-handed. Kabutsky
That's right, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So he should have been well prepared. And to be perfectly frank with you, he looked like Joe Shit the Ragman at times. Now, I understand people are saying, I understand people are saying, well, you know, Ali had problems with this, Doug Jones, Sonny Banks, blah, blah, blah. I understand that. But look at the guys he was fighting. They weren't fighting. Ali wasn't fighting Charles Martin. Jesus Christ. Okay? So, you know, you got to remember that too. I mean, Charles Martin isn't much, and he looked like a lot the other night. He made Charles Martin look good. I mean, the fact that Charles Martin should be getting a ton of phone calls for fights right now after the other night. He made Charles Martin look like he was alive again when he was dead.
Rick, was it my imagination, or did he make Charles Martin look like the late great Corey Sanders? And I don't mean T-Rex. I mean Sniper.
No, right. I agree. That's what really happened. He made the guy look good. He was bad. I mean, listen, I'm a huge believer. Before the other night, I was a huge believer in winning call. And I still believe in him. If he gets up off his ass and goes somewhere to train with a trainer, he can bring his other trainer with him. But he needs to go to a Buddy McGirt, a real teacher. He needs to go to somebody like that that'll take those flaws away. First of all, why would you walk straight in with anybody when you're in a fight? In other words, if you're completely exploding on the other guy, okay, you can walk straight in where the other guy's got no artillery to throw back. Why would you do that? Why would you use angles? Why would you walk up in front of him, just stand there and stop and look at the guy? I mean, come on. There is no reason for that kind of stuff. That's all stuff that's like a 4-round fighter does. Not a guy fighting 10 rounds in a main event on national TV.
Yeah, I tell you what, it's going to be very interesting. As a bonus, Rick, I'm going to read you this tweet from Bruce Trampler immediately following his performance.
I know. I saw it.
I know. I'm going to read it again for our audience, and I'll give you your opportunity to retort. Okay, now here's the big question, Big Rick. I'm going to read Bruce Trampler's. I'm going to ask you a question, okay? Quote, I was very proud. This is Bruce Trampler now, guys. Hall of Fame matchmaker for Top Rank. Quote, I was very proud of Jared Anderson last night. Lots of hometown pressure. Toughest opponent to date in classy ex-champ Charles Martin. Finally got rounds under his belt. We know a lot more where Jared is and where we believe he can go. End quote. Now, this is a question, Big Rick. Is this is a very polite way of saying, boy, we've got a lot of work to do?
Well, Bruce is a Hall of Famer. He's a very classy guy. He's a gentleman. I admire Bruce. Bruce and I are very good friends. It goes like this. We shouldn't have had to find out how tough he was the other night and all the shots because he took so many shots. That wasn't supposed to be that kind of fight. He's supposed to beat that guy. If he's all that, he's supposed to beat Charles Martin relatively easy.
Yep.
That's what the facts are.
Could I ask this question, Rick?
Sure.
Now, I know that his prior opponent was a southpaw, just like Charles Martin. But last-minute replacements can definitely throw something off.
Not as much as they used to, because they have so much film on guys now that we didn't have years ago. So that doesn't really apply as much today as it did years ago without YouTube and all that kind of stuff, where you'd have to order a tape and it wouldn't come for 2 days before. Now, before they say yes to a fight, they can look at the tape. Yeah, I'll take him. Where before, you had to almost take the fight, and then they'd get the tapes 5 days later. So it's a different era today. So I don't agree with that.
That's a very good point, Big Rick. That's a very good point.
And I'll agree with your take on Bruce Trampler. Nice guy. I've interviewed him before. And I actually did get a chance to meet him at Stockton on the John and Beck card back in May. Very nice guy.
Yeah,
he's very classy. He's an excellent representation of a boxing guy He's an excellent representation of a boxing guy. That if you were in corporate America, that's our boxing guy. He's a Hall of Famer, the gentleman, blah blah blah.
There he is, and there it is, and there it is. So, last question regarding this tweet, Rick. Now, seeing that you're a matchmaker as well, sir, and you were using your matchmaker's eye to size him up in that performance on Saturday night. So, who would you match him up against in his subsequent fight?
Well, not Kabutsky, that's for sure. Who would I? I don't know. I'd look to fight a Dominic Brazil or Gerald Washington, somebody like that. More or less guys that he should be able to knock out in 2-3 rounds, maybe 4 at the most. Give him a little confidence, get him another knockout, make him look explosive again. I hate to say this about the guy, but I sure hope he doesn't become the next Edgar Berlanga.
Oh, boy. Don't you dare say that, Ouch. Big Rick. Edgar Hamburger Lenga. Something tells me that he's coming up in Fact or Fiction, Big Rick. Oh, boy. Mm-hmm. I tell you what, though. It's going to be interesting to see how they pair him up next. And, I tell you what, Gerald Washington or Dominic Brazil, those two guys are shot. I don't even think they're active any longer.
Well, okay, they're not active, and somebody in that ilk.
Oh boy, Where's Adam Kovnowski when you need him? Ho ho!
Adam shouldn't be fighting anymore. Shouldn't be fighting anymore. There's a difference.
Agreed, I was just gonna say, I'll tell you where he's at, Joe. He's somewhere blocking punches with his face.
The big Max Kellerman, with his face. Yep, and there it is. I'll tell you what, number 3 on the Rick Glaser Twitter watch, G Funky.
All right, from 5:40 a.m. July 1st, 2023. And I quote, those that have had past or current associations with certain people shouldn't be ashamed of those associations. They should live up to those relationships. Be the man you're supposed to be, not a wimp. And boxing in particular has people in it from all walks of life. Stand up and be a man no matter what the association is. That's how I conduct my life. Rick, let us know. Take us deeper into that tweet.
It's about Daniel. It's about Daniel Kinahan. I had a relationship with a business relationship, and we, friendly too, very good friends. They call Zoom and Zoom and all that kind of stuff, and what's that called, WhatsApp or whatever. But I met him in person. I dined with him. I had several meetings with him in person. So what can I say? Everybody's running like dogs, and I'm a stand-up guy. I did nothing wrong. I'm not in the drug business, if he's in the drug business, like they say he is, but that's not my field. My business was totally legitimate. I provide quality supplemental services to people in the boxing business around the world, and I supplied my services. What can I say?
Well, you know what? I owe G Funky now $1 because I thought it was someone else with the initials DK. I thought you were talking about Don King.
Ooh,
no. No.
Oh, Don King, Daniel Kinahan. Yeah, frickin' frack, tomato. What you gonna do,
frickin'
huh?
Yeah, but no, hey, at least like you said, you're standing up to like you said, being a man about it, and that's respectable, Rick, for sure.
And we wouldn't expect anything else, my friend. I tell you what, that was it then. You just survived Rick Glaser's Twitter watch. Guys, we have about 10 more minutes before we start Fact or Fiction, so let's go to the chat, guys. See if you have any questions for Big Rick Glaser. First comment, low clarity. This channel should have more followers. Thank you for supporting Big Rick Glaser on this beautiful July 3rd, my friend. He also says, intro tune is slick. That's my son's new song from his band Roshi. It's called New Mexico. And there it is. And also, former badass Montequilla, Adam Lopez. He says, I love this show. What's not to love, Adam? We've got Big Rick Glaser and G Funky. Tell you what, can it get any better than this? I think not.
Yeah.
Welcome to the show, sir. Montequilla was a bad dude. I loved watching him fight, and it was a real joy to announce a lot of his fights. We want to welcome RZ. He says hashtag glazed. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for supporting Big Rick on this evening. Also want to give a big shout out to Miss B. Blessings to everyone on the panel. May Sierra, the bitch of confusion, lead y'all to the path of success. Amen. And there it is. And there it is. I tell you what, we have time to include one more tweet. How do you like that, guys? So here it is. I love this one. I love this one, actually. This was done on 6:17 a.m., June 27th, Big Rick. And it's, I quote, Rick Glaser here, quote, last top guys in boxing that literally fought anyone were Carl Froch and James Toney. And that's why they're both so highly respected. I can't remember either ever turning down anyone, and they are both Hall of Famers as a result. Where are these kinds of fighters in this era? Hashtag boxing. You can't think of. Go ahead, sir.
Pacquiao turned down Terrence Crawford. I mean, everybody's turned down somebody. You know, Roy, if you count Roy in this era still, he turned down Michael Shevsky over there. So, yeah, it's everybody's turned down somebody as far as I know.
Rick, now in terms of your... Go ahead, sir. I'm sorry. My apologies.
Usak's a little early yet to determine that. But everybody's turned down somebody. Terrence Crawford, he hasn't turned down anybody. I can't think of anybody else.
Well, what about someone that fought him?
What's that?
I was going to say, what about someone who fought Crawford, and that's Mean Machine Kavalauskas? I've seen him. Just he fought Virgil Ortiz as well.
Too much risk for the reward.
Yeah, he's a guy that will fight anywhere.
He's not a big enough fighter. He's not a world champion.
Okay, well, let me ask you this. What about this? What about Miguel Cotto? Or what about Gennady Golovkin?
What's that?
Golovkin
turned down several people along the way.
Really?
Yeah, he did. Several guys did. Yep.
Well, I tell you what, in my opinion, what is your opinion of being a throwback? And you brought up the Tiger, Mikhilchevsky. What about Arthur Beterbiev at 175, sir?
Well, right now he's headed that way. He's definitely headed that way. Usak's headed that way. But, not many guys.
You know what? I would have to agree with you there, Big Rick. I would have to agree with that. And I will say this, bonus question, how would you have seen Roy Jones versus Mikhilchevsky?
Roy Jones would have beat him.
I agree,
That was quick. That was a quick response.
No, Roy would have beat him. Roy would have beat him because Roy was in his prime at that time. And Michael Shevsky was a little on the back nine at that time. Okay.
Very good observation, my friend.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there it is.
I just wanted to throw Mean Machine in there because in this era of sides of the street, like the fans like to say, the man's fought everywhere. He's fought on ESPN. He's fought on DAZN. He's fought on PBC. And I like that in fighters, man. I do.
Yeah, well, let me give this comment, right? Low Clarity says, regarding your, assessment of Jared Anderson. He says, other people in the chat for Boxing Gems pointed out the hometown disadvantage. Nick Diaz also said he hates when people close to him are in attendance at his fights. Was the hometown pressure, was that a factor in Jared Anderson's performance, sir?
I would say it was, but then you got to blame everybody for saying, hey, we're putting him in his hometown and winning it, and he ain't ready for it mentally, emotionally. That's part of the team.
That's it.
That's a reflection on him.
Completely agree with that, brother. And once again, that's how you build your market value. You become a big ticket seller in your hometown first. Wasn't a problem for Terrence Crawford.
Absolutely. I love that.
Wasn't a problem for Errol Spence Jr.
In the last 30 years, the ticket sellers in their hometown were Johnny Tapia in New Mexico, Joe Macy in Buffalo.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Mark Too Sharp Johnson in Washington D.C. Huge crowd.
Too Sharp, baby.
Ooh, Too Sharp.
Yep.
Yeah. Let's see. Jose Ramirez in Fresno.
That's right.
Oh yes. Yeah, big crowds in Fresno.
Terrence Crawford in Omaha. Errol Spence in Dallas.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's really about it that I could figure out that drew huge crowds in their respective hometown.
That's it. And something tells me that's going to come up in fact or fiction as well. Dana Rosenblatt drew big crowds in New England at the casino at Foxwoods and in Malden. He did a show there one time. There was like 25 or 30,000 people there. It was nuts. So, he's another one. And Vinny Pazienza drew big crowds. I'm trying to think. Don't forget about Don Chargan's handiwork in building a club fighter in Tony the Tiger Lopez into a world champion in Sacramento, California, baby.
That's right. My hometown, baby. I love Tony.
Yeah, another guy, Richard Duran. Richard Duran, was another one of Chargan's guys. He was a big draw.
Oh, gosh, yeah, man. You know what? Chargan did a masterful job, not a good job, masterful job at building hometown heroes into big, legitimate draws. And I tell you what, miss Don Chargan every day. Yep.
That's what Golden Boy is trying to do with what's his name there? Floyd Schofield is one guy they're trying to what's his name there? What's his name? Eric Priest. He out in LA, even though he's not from there originally, he's from like Nebraska or something like that. But Kansas, he's from. But he's been out there for a while, and they're trying to build him into a regional attraction out there. And it's hard to build a regional attraction because people don't go unless you're a diehard boxing junkie. You don't go on the internet for your boxing news. You look in the regular newspaper and you run into something. If they don't have a boxing writer, you're screwed.
That's right. That's why I'll say, man, rest in peace and much respect to Mr. Ken Thompson, who just passed away early this year, who did build some regional fighters here in California. Rare thing these days, man, but he was fantastic at it. And I never miss a Thompson show, whether it's live on YouTube or if it's here in my city, Sacramento. I'm always there, man. Shout out to Thompson Boxing.
Yeah,
Yes, sir. I tell you what, guys, and now, are you ready, Big Rick? It is time.
It's time for Rick Glaser's Fact or Fiction.
There it is.
Who was that? Was that Teddy Atlas?
Yeah, dude, that cost me a pretty penny to get him to announce Fact or Fiction for Big Rick Glaser.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. I tell you what, though, G Funky, you've got the odds tonight, so you've got number one, my friend.
All right, Mr. Rick, fact or fiction? Here's number one: is Canelo versus Charlo even money? Right? Okay, so FanDuel Betting Online has Canelo at a minus 198 and Charlo at a plus 178.
I think it should be about 4-1.
Okay. As much closer odds matchup than Stanionis Ortiz, where Stanionis is a plus 290 and Ortiz is a minus 330.
Hold on, G Funky. You just destroyed that prognostication, brother. It's supposed to read like this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
FanDuel Betting Online is justified in listing Canelo versus Mell Charlo as a much closer odds matchup than Stanionis versus Ortiz. Fact or fiction?
It shouldn't be. Canelo should be 4-1. The other fight should be 2-1
Listen
in favor
to this,
of
Big Rick.
Ortiz.
Listen to this, Big Rick. Opening betting line from FanDuel Online is Canelo listed as a -198, Jermell Charlo as a +178, and then they have him on to Stanionis as a +290, and Virgil Ortiz Jr. as a -330. What's going on?
I don't know. That fight should be 2-1, and the other fight should be 4-1.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree. Why do you think, though, Rick, they have it that way? Do they know something that we don't?
You got to remember something about these sports, okay? They're used to the ball and stick sports, the basketball, the hockey, the football, the baseball, and you get to NASCAR, and you get to boxing, where they're not as familiar with the sports. You catch some lines that don't make any sense. So
yeah, absolutely. Well, I tell you what, G Funky, you've got number 2, my friend.
All right, let me see if I can get this one right. Okay, number 2, Canelo will face Mell Charlo, Mell Charlo, and Errol Spence Jr. in that order to fulfill his 3-fight deal with Showtime, leaving David Benavidez out in the proverbial cold. Fact or fiction, Rick?
That's too far-fetched. That's like if my mother had balls, she'd be my father. I don't believe he fights Benavidez in these 3 fights. Let's put it that way to you. Who he fights after this Charlo, who knows? Don't know. But he ain't gonna fight Benavidez. That's apparent. I think though a deal was struck that he would sign with Heyman if he didn't have to fight Benavidez. That's what I think.
Ooh, yeah, I agree. I don't think the Benavidez fight happens in this 3-fight deal unless Crawford absolutely destroys Spence in that fight. Then there might not be a need for him to fight Spence in the 3-fight deal, and maybe we could squeeze in Benavidez there. But yeah, I'm right there with you, Rick.
I tell you what, we're going to take a little break from Fact or Fiction right now. We need to say hello to our brother, Refugio Garcia. Thank you for supporting Big Rick on this beautiful July 3rd. Also, Outlaw says, Funkster, Rick and Joe. Good evening, brother. Good evening to you, sir. Thank you for always supporting Big Rick on his Monday night show. Also, 50 Cal, he says, Big Rick, why do people criticize Canelo when Mayweather made a career of placing weight stipulations on his opponents?
Because he is, people, what do they call that? What do they call it? The line boxing, that LBC. Yeah, he's not black. Canelo's not black, and that's the reason why. That's the way I see it, and that's the way it is.
Well, I tell you what. Thank you for your question, brother, to Big Rick, and thank you for supporting Big Rick on this beautiful July 3rd. Also, big shout out to Robert Guerra, newly subscribed, first time watching. Thank you, my friend. Thank you very much. Boy, you picked a great day to be a first-time watcher because we are here with Big Rick Glaser. How do you like that? Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it, brother.
I don't know how big I am. I'm only 5'8.5", so I don't know how big I am, but keep going.
No. That's discounting the head, brother. So, and there it is. Yeah. Also, I have to tell you, Rick, I am saddened, brother, that you're not going to be here for the big showdown between Amanda Stanionis and Virgil Ortiz Jr. this Saturday.
Well,
I was really looking forward to you being here, man.
Yeah, I'll be there in spirit.
Well, I tell you what, brother, your spirit cannot buy me lunch. No, I'm kidding. God bless you, Rick. We're going to miss you, my friend, because I told Ronnie about that, and yeah, he was looking forward to that as well. So it's going to just be me and Ronnie then, brother. How do you like that? So
Yeah.
Joey Chaz, I'm sorry, he changed his moniker to Marcos Chaz. And now I know this is directed towards me. He says, Joseph, but I'm going to direct it towards you, Big Rick. Rick, there is no buzz for Bud versus Spence from the casuals. Your thoughts?
It's a little early. It's a holiday weekend. It's not till the 29th. This is the 3rd. Next week, after Saturday, because Showtime's got a show starting Saturday with what's his name, Ennis, Boots Ennis, and I think starting that night, you're going to see a lot of hype. So I think once that starts Saturday night, that hype will set in.
And there it is. I agree wholeheartedly, guys. Wait till fight week, guys. Wait till fight week. Dre the Finest, welcome to the show, sir. He says, salute Joseph G. Funky and Big Rick Glaser. You dig? Yes, we do. Thank you for joining us, sir, on this beautiful July 3rd. And there it is. There it is. I tell you what. I want to welcome Platinum Fights, always inside field. Says, I don't think Anderson looked that bad. He just faced an awkward style and he lacks experience. Good fight for him. Let's see how he looks next time out. That's the spirit, brother. That's the spirit. I tell you what, guys.
The problem with that is the things he did wrong were blatant. They didn't take an expert like myself to pick those things out. I had one of my nephews call me, hey, Rick, Uncle Rick, this guy does so much wrong in the ring. Come on. Yeah, my nephew never had gloves on. It's just a casual. He saw it.
Wow.
So that's not a good sign.
So you're saying it was a turd in the punch bowl? Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. I'm
saying that when you make that many mistakes that often in the fight, you don't make adjustments, and you don't do anything differently than you did the previous round. The true definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Well, he kept getting the same result because he kept doing the same things over and over again. It's not a good sign.
What does that tell you, though, Big Rick, about his coach?
Well, it didn't help.
Yep, look, and one thing I've learned, and I'm sure you have as well, Big Rick, and you know this, you're going to execute exactly what you practice in the gym.
That's right.
That's right. Right. Yep, and there it is,
Yes, sir.
So
we fight how we train.
That's it. We fight how we train. Very well said. That was much better than how I said it, brother. Thank you. Peter Von Arts, welcome to the show, sir. Our brother from Wisconsin. He says, salute you, Funky. Boxing, good to see you. And he also says, how y'all doing, Joseph and Rick? We're doing great, brother. We're here with Big Rick. So moving on, who asked number 3 in Fact or Fiction? Is that me?
Yeah, take that one, Joe.
I guess that's me. Fact or Fiction, Big Rick? Former titleist Austin No Doubt Trout is correct when he states the winner of Spence versus Crawford beats Jermell Charlo at 154. Fact or fiction?
I think he does. Yes, I think the winner does. Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So what does that say about Spence if he fights and tangles with Canelo Alvarez at 168? Is that too big of a jump for Errol Spence Jr.?
Oh yeah, for sure.
And there it is. So who do you like? Have you changed your prediction for Crawford Spence on 29th?
Nope.
Because honestly, Rick, I truly believe that Spence is going to get a decision over Crawford the same way Haney got a decision over Lomachenko, even though Terrence Crawford is going to inflict the more damage that night. And it's going to result in a very unpopular decision. It was a robbery. It was corruption. Yeah,
oh
that's what I think. What say you, my friend?
I don't think it'll come down to that. I think there'll be too many eyes on the fight, and I think Crawford will get a decision if he wins the fight. I just think that I don't forget if Crawford knocks him down several times, it'd be hard to overcome that. So we'll see.
Wow, someone who's never been knocked down in his pro career. You expect multiple knockdowns.
Well, I don't agree with that. He was knocked down against Ugas because the ropes held him up.
Yeah, I think that should have been ruled a knockdown.
Wow. tell you what, yeah, you can make that case. But once
I
again,
know.
Well, credit Lawrence Cole, the worst referee in Texas, for actually blowing that call. Dude,
He's
Lawrence
been bad
Cole
for a while, man.
He's a great guy, but he's an absolutely terrible ref. I love Lawrence Cole, but come on, guys. We know why he gets these big assignments. Once again, he's the son of Dickie Cole. God rest his soul, and I love Dickie. He's a great man. Great man he was.
As the line goes, Dickie may be dead, but his spirit isn't.
Absolutely. In Texas, you're right about that, brother. And that's why Lawrence still gets the big assignments. As terrible as he is, and a terribly nice guy, he belongs nowhere near a big event. Yep. So what are the chances of Lawrence Cole getting the assignment this Saturday, Rick?
I don't know. Probably.
Well, let's hope Mark
he doesn't get
Calloway gets it. Let's hope Mark Calloway or Rafael Ramos gets it. Come on, 7-Eleven. So number 4, G Funky.
All right, number 4, Rick. Deontay Wilder is correct when he states Wilder versus Ruiz is definitely not a 50-50 fight. He's talking about a rematch clause. Either he's drunk or he's on drugs. Maybe both. If this deal falls through, you'll never see him again in the boxing scene, especially not on PBC. I mean, I'm sorry reading that. That's funny.
That's so far fetched. What's his name's about the bull PBC because he can't put any. He can't pay. The reason why he's arguing over the percentages, they're arguing over the percentages because those guys can't pay Wilder, so they're trying to take it from Ruiz, the money from Ruiz's end. Is what they're trying to do. There's not enough money to go around there to make that fight.
Well, Rick, what happens when you pay guys like Deontay Wilder inflated purses? What happens?
Well, this is what you got right now. Exactly.
Makes it virtually impossible to put together the best matchups, and that's what we're seeing right now, guys. Mm-hmm. So, Rick, in your opinion, is this a 50-50 fight in terms of purse split?
Ability or money or ability? Which one are you talking about?
Same thing, brother.
It's I think it's, to me, one guy should get 65%, one guy should get 35%. Myself.
Who do you think deserves the 65%? Mm-hmm.
Oh, Wilder should get the 65%. Remember, Ruiz was champ for a night. The other guy had a reign of 5 years and 10 stiffs, but he did have, and then he was in big fights with. He was in big fights. He was in 3 big fights with Tyson Fury, and it is what it is. But the other guy was champ for a night.
So put on your promotional cap, Big Rick. Where would you put Deontay Wilder versus Andy Ruiz, since Deontay Wilder is the big man who deserves the A-side money? Where would you put that fight? In Tuscaloosa?
No, Vegas.
No,
Vegas.
Boy.
There's no state income tax for the fighters. You get free rooms. You get the free building. They'll take tickets. That's the way you do it. You do it in Vegas.
It's very hard to compete with that, isn't it?
Yeah, and they also have a max on the TV tax, which most states don't. So there's a lot of advantages to Nevada.
Now, guys, we only have
obviously.
And very good, very good. We always learn something new every time you're in the queue, Big Rick. So we're moving on to number 5. Fact or fiction, we only have 15 minutes to go, so let's fly through these, Big Rick. Are you ready? Fact or fiction, Rodriguez versus Edwards should be in either London, England, or San Antonio, Texas. The 112-pound unification isn't big enough to be on neutral soil. Huge blunder by Eddie Hearn, fact or fiction?
No, because Eddie, Sonny will go to San Antonio, and that's the place where it'll be. It shouldn't be anywhere. It shouldn't be. It's not big enough to be in London because little guys don't mean shit over there. You know, the only little guy that's been a draw in years is Hamed, and that was years ago. It's mostly the bigger guys that are draws over in England.
Yep.
So will they get 5,000 or 6,000 or 7,500 people? Yeah, but they can fill a stadium over there in San Antonio with that fight.
So guess where it's going to be, and this is where I'm saying huge blunder from Eddie Hearn. Maybe you haven't heard. I got the skinny, brother, from their matchmaker. Oh, boy. Are you ready for this, Big Rick? And once again, it exposes that Eddie Hearn just does not know the American market. He's staging this fight in December in Phoenix, Arizona, brother.
Yeah. That's not the right place for that fight.
Hell no. Hell no, brother. So what are your thoughts on it? Go ahead, sir.
Especially the biggest fighter that what's his name? Elijah Garcia is with Heyman. So that makes no sense at all. Zero.
Yep. So what does that say about Eddie Hearn in the American market, sir?
He doesn't know what the fuck he's doing.
Yep. And there it is. There it is. Short and
he's
sweet.
Gotta go.
Said it any better.
One more time.
He's got to go.
And there it is. There it is. Look. To his defense, okay, just so you guys know I'm being fair, not being a hater. Eddie Hearn is brilliant in the UK. He knows the regions. He knows the talent. He's great at putting together great fight cards in the UK. But in America, he sucks ass. And that's no exaggeration, guys. Rick Glaser has the beat here. Come on now. Number six, G-Funky.
All right, number 6, Rick. Edgar Berlanga will take on John Ryder later this year for the new WBO Nothing Burger belt at super middleweight. Fact or fiction?
I can't see that. I can't see the fight happening.
Why not, Big Rick?
Because he's left-handed, and Berlanga has trouble even with right-handers, let alone left-handers. So I don't see it. He doesn't box well enough. He's not ring smart enough to fight a John Ryder.
Wow. Let's see. Andy Cruz, Regis Prograis, Edgar Berlanga. What do you think of his 3 last big signees?
Andy Cruz will never be able to sell a ticket in America. So he's a zero. Regis Prograis. I mean, he took him to his reputed hometown and he laid an egg. Eddie laid an egg. Everybody laid an egg, and he barely won. And who's the third one? Who's the third one?
Edgar Berlanga.
Well, I mean, he's limited. He signed him to be opponent for Canelo, and Canelo took off at Eddie. So there's issues there. But listen, Berlanga's an attraction in New York. He can do good at the theater at Madison Square Garden. There's no question.
Yeah, and that Pro Grace card was god awful. I mean, Rick, there was more tarps in that arena than the Oakland Coliseum for the Oakland A's.
Oh boy! Well, there it is. There it is. And Peter Von Ark says, just for good measure, Gary Antoine Russell should be getting a shot at Regis. Just saying. Never gonna happen now.
Hold it. Gary Antoine Russell. I mean, Heyman's not going to do that.
Well, why not? What else is he gonna do with him? He's not a ticket seller, not even in DC.
I don't know what he's gonna do with him, but that doesn't have anything to do with Al Heyman's motives of operandi. Trust me.
I love it, Big Rick. Number 7, Alexander Usyk will ditch the WBO heavyweight strap and the mandated pairing with Daniel Dubois because a measly $6 million purse is not worth his time, nor worth risking the massive money fight in Saudi Arabia with Tyson Fury in January. Fact or fiction, Big Rick?
No. Well, it's a fiction because Dubois got the WBA belt, not the WBO belt.
My apologies, WBA. That's what I meant. My apologies, sir.
Okay, well, he's going to end up fighting him, yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I tell you what. How do you see that fight playing out, sir?
He'll stop Dubois. Dubois got nothing left.
Agreed, brother. Especially with the way he looked against the last former cruiserweight he faced. He looked god awful, didn't he?
Yep.
And there it is. G Funky, number 8, sir.
Hey, can you take number 8, Joe? I got to do something with my kid real fast.
Yes,
okay?
sir. Got it. Number 8, Fact or Fiction, sir. Max Kellerman and Andre Ward's departure from ESPN is an ominous sign for both Top Rank and boxing in general on the Disney-owned sports network. Fact or fiction?
No, fiction. They laid off a lot of people. They laid off basketball people, college, NBA basketball people. They laid off baseball people. They laid off 20 on-air personalities. They're laying off 7,000 people. It's got nothing to do with an individual sport. Okay, they're trying to cut costs. It's about cost cutting. Nothing to do with boxing or Top Rank.
Very
Zero.
good. So
Remember, Max did very little on boxing. He only did that one show, that Max on boxing, the occasional commentary. He's big on football and basketball there on those sports shows and stuff.
Yes, sir.
It's $5 million a year. He's making too much money.
So there's no need for any diehard fans to worry about boxing on ESPN.
No, not at all.
Very good. Then we're moving on to number 9, sir. Fact or fiction?
I got
Steven
it, Joe. I'm here.
Go ahead. Number 9, sir. Number 9, please.
Okay, Rick. Number 9. Steven Espinoza will stage Keith, one-time Thurman versus Yordenis Ugas on Showtime pay-per-view in August, and it will only attract 25K purchases. Fact or fiction?
Why so many?
Woo! Oh, I tell you what, you gotta love Big Rick on this channel. I freaking love it, brother. That is outstanding. So once again, do you really think that Steven Espinoza is gonna force this pile of dog shit on Showtime pay-per-view in August?
Embarrassing. I'll say it. Leave it. It shouldn't. If it was done at all, and there's no public demand for the fight, nobody's asking for the fight. Nobody's asking to see either fighter. If you're gonna do it. Okay, do it on Showtime. Give them $1 million a piece and be done with it. You know, I mean, what's the sense of putting that on pay-per-view? It's gonna lay an egg. A big
Indeed. Oh, it's gonna be god awful. No one has and once again, this has no consequence to the landscape of the welterweights. None. Zero.
None.
So here we go to number 10. We have 2 more, and we only have 5 more minutes. Big Rick, number 10. Well, 6 minutes. Number 10. Fact or fiction? Despite offering Shakur Stevenson a 25-75 purse split, undisputed lightweight champ Devin Haney has no real interest in facing him. Fact or fiction?
No, it's all fraudulent. How's he gonna make Shakur offer? He was just with Top Rank Haney for 3 fights, right? And he knows Shakur's not fighting on anything but ESPN. So whether he makes an offer or not, the fight's not going to happen, because unless Top Rank's promoting the show, and then if so, they're going to dwell out the money, not Haney. It's fucking retarded. Please.
Oh, goodness gracious. And we have a bonus one for you, Rick, because we have some time. Here's number 11. G Funky, the honors, please.
All right, number 11. Tyson Fury will indeed face Francis Ngannou. Hopefully I'm saying that right.
Ngannou.
Okay, I'm not familiar with MMA. Excuse me on that one.
No, that's credit to you, brother. That's credit to you.
Fury will face him in September, and Alexander Usyk in January.
I don't know. I would think he is going to, but who knows? I don't know. I'd be guessing, but I think it's going to happen, but who knows?
Yeah, Fury's he's a wild card, that's for sure.
Well,
Yeah,
look, and once again, it's highly likely, right, that he makes this fight with Francis Ngannou in an exhibition. How well do you think that does? Do you think it's because once again, I haven't seen such a successful slanderous campaign since the 2020 election against Donald Trump. Tyson Fury, and like he's been bashed, and everyone seems to hate him for some reason. So how well do you think this does, Big Rick?
It does well. You get the cross of two worlds, like Duran and when Ray Leonard, it was a cross of cultures. This is a cross of MMA versus boxing. It'll do well.
So do you think he's only despised by the diehard boxing community?
I don't know. I don't despise the guy. I think he's good for boxing, but he doesn't fight
Agreed.
often enough. He doesn't fight often enough.
Yeah.
Yep. And he's once again another product of inflated purses. So you just did it, Big Rick. You just survived the latest edition of Fact or Fiction. How do you like that?
I always do, don't I?
Round of applause, please, sir. Round of applause, please, sir. And there it is, Big Rick. Your parting shots for our listening audience, sir.
Just my Twitter handle's Real Rick Glaser 1. I'm verified, so a lot of fake Rick Glaser accounts out there. I don't know. I got about 7,300 people somewhere around there. And follow me on Twitter. I answer all boxing questions. And, 24/7, 365, 32 years in boxing full time is the only thing I do. I work today and I'm working tomorrow because boxing's a worldwide business. It's only a holiday in the United States.
You're the man, Big Rick.
I work today and I work tomorrow.
And Rick,
you're the man, Big Rick.
Rick, since we got 90 seconds left here, I want to ask you, did you unblock Sal? Sad sex?
No. He's
Dude, I had a feeling you were going to say that.
I've had to block him 6 times. He's a fucker. And here's the funny part. His friend Trini, who's a friend of mine, bought me a present for Christmas, sent me one of Sal's shirts. It says the boxing and chill on it in red. I wore it on a show, and everybody says I bought it from him. He told me, he's stupid, sad sack Sal told everybody I bought it from him. I didn't buy shit from him. Give it to me as a present. That guy's a fraud. Please. What he knows about boxing, you could write. What Sad Sack knows about boxing, you could write out a matchbox cover with large yellow crayon. He calls himself his Twitter handle. His Twitter handle is at Mr. Boxing Guru. Mr. Boxing Guru. He's about as much a guru about that as I am a fucking scientist. He's about as much of a boxing guru as he is a fitness guru. Yes, well, I said it.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I said it.
Well,
yeah, I did. But I tell you what, Big Rick, thank you so much, brother.
I'm gonna tell you guys a real quick story, real quick. Okay.
Let's hear it, my friend.
One time I walked in this buffet and I was standing to the side waiting for a guy to show up to his meeting. And this big guy will come in about 500 pounds. The little Chinaman that owned the place turns to the guy and says, No, not today.
Holy shit. So conversation of Sad Sack Sal brought that into your medulla?
Yeah. Yeah. No, not today. Listen, I'll see you. Listen, I'll see you guys next Monday. Okay, you guys have a nice time tonight.
Thank you, and you have a wonderful and safe 4th of July, my friend.
Yeah, you too, guys, and everybody else. Happy, safe 4th of July, and one more thing, be very safe. And firecrackers can be dangerous. Okay,
that's it.
Have a good time. Bye.
We love you, Rick. God bless you, brother.
Bye.
I tell you what, G Funky, your parting shots for our listening audience as well, sir.
Hey guys, don't forget to hit that like button for Joseph Heron here. It's free, all right? Free 99. Hit that like button. That's the most important thing you could do for the channel. Any of these channels out here that you guys support, hit the like button, man. That's the most important thing. And yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys. This is a great show. I enjoyed it. And I look forward to next Monday doing it again, guys.
You know what? My biggest regret is, is that it's only 60 minutes. We're confined to 60 minutes because of Rick's schedule. That's my biggest regret, my friend. Otherwise, boy, it's a real joy to meet with Big Rick every week, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he's fun.
And there it is. One more time for great measure.
It's time for Rick Glaser's Fact or Fiction.
Shout out to Teddy, man. Teddy, if you're listening, call into the show one time, all right? G Funky Boxing on YouTube. Call into the show one time. I would love to hear from you.
I love it, guys. On behalf of my brother, G Funky Boxing, guys, and if you haven't already subscribed, please go do so at this time. On behalf of the incomparable G Funky Boxing, I'm Joseph Heron. You've been listening to Warwick Radio. Have a great evening, everybody.
FightSaga.com and Halftime Pizza proudly present Real Talk with boxing professional Rick Glaser.